Hello aspirants, welcome back to Focus Prep Current Affairs. So today we are going to cover the most important banking and financial related current affairs of the last 3 months, that is from January to March. Okay, so here we are going to be doing it from the monthly current affairs PDF that we provide, so that we can also cover the static GK sections. Okay, so we provide these PYQ based static GK within the current affairs PDFs wherever necessary. So I am going to do it from here so that it is helpful for your exams, the upcoming exams. So it will be a revision video. Now since I am doing a detailed video on this, so it is going to be a little longer format of video. So maybe save this video or add it to the watch list so that you can just go through this whenever you have the time. Now see the first current affairs. SBI launched the fully digital tab based onboarding for NRI accounts. So this is important. The SBI PO mains is coming up next month. So if you are appearing for that, this is very important. SBI has launched a fully digital tab based onboarding for the NRI accounts. Okay. So SBI is the State Bank of India, right? And this initiative is being implemented. Why? To eliminate the physical paperwork and to simplify, right, the process through digital document verification. So everything will be now, everything can be now done digitally. So there is no need of physical paperwork for the NRE accounts. Now let's see some of the full forms. What are the NRE accounts? NRE means the non-resident external account. Okay, these accounts are made for managing the income that is earned outside of India. So if you are staying outside India and you are earning there, then these NRE accounts are opened, so you can deposit your money there. What are NRO accounts? These are non-resident ordinary account for managing the income which is earned in India, within India. Okay. And what does this mean? The tab based onboarding system, it means just that now users can just open their accounts through their in the online format without visiting the bank branch. Okay. Now let's see the next one. RBI has approved merger of National Cooperative Bank with the Cosmos Cooperative Bank. So two cooperative banks are now being merged into one, and who has approved this? Obviously the Reserve Bank of India, because they oversee all these merger of banks, right? And RBI is the main regulatory body of cooperative banks as well. Now post merger, the National Cooperative Bank's branches will operate as the Cosmos Cooperative Bank itself. Okay, so now from now on these two have been merged, and now these accounts of the National Cooperative Bank branches will function under the name of Cosmos Cooperative Bank. Now this merger took place under which subsection? These are important for your GA section or the GK section. Even if you are appearing for state PCS exams, there also all these become important whenever such things are in news. Okay, so the subsection 4 of section 44A and section 56 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949, on based on this merger has taken place. So here you have to remember that the merger of banks take place according to the Banking Regulation Act of 1949. If you can, then you can remember the sections also. If you are a banking aspirant, try to remember the sections as well. Now previously in the financial year of 24, Maratha Sahkari Bank and Sahebrao Deshmukh Sahkari Bank, these were merged into the Cosmos Bank. Okay. Now let's see the next one. Again a very important current affairs. You can see we have put 3 stars over here. These means these are the very important current affairs, right? So see, SBI has launched this scheme, the Har Ghar Lakpati scheme and the SBI Patrons Deposit scheme. Okay, so these two schemes by SBI very important. And why have they been launched? To promote financial inclusion. Now let's see a little bit details about these two schemes. Har Ghar Lakpati. Okay, what is this scheme all about? Now it is a pre-calculated recurring deposit scheme, okay, that is designed to help customers save up to 1 lakh or the multiples of 1 lakh. So it is a recurring deposit scheme, pre-calculated recurring deposit scheme. This scheme will simplify the saving by the customers. So they won't have to plan and accumulate the all the planning and the calculations. It is done under this. So this will help and guide the customers, and it will simplify for them to save. Okay. Now the minimum tenure for this deposit is 12 months and maximum is 120 months. Okay, remember this one. Eligibility, it is available to minors. Okay, also available to minors, it is everyone is eligible for this. Okay, so 12 months to 120 months, remember the tenure. Now about the SBI patrons, right? So what is this SBI patrons? It is a fixed deposit scheme. So the difference between the two schemes is important. The Har Ghar Lakhpati scheme is a recurring deposit scheme, and the SBI patrons, it is the fixed deposit scheme, which is for the senior citizens aged 80 years and above. So we just saw that Har Ghar Lakhpati, it is available for minors also, but for SBI patrons, it is specifically designed for senior citizens who are aged above 80 years. So this eligibility criteria is important, okay, especially for banking exams. Next, the scheme offers enhanced interest rates, okay, compared to the fixed deposit schemes, and it will be available in both the existing and the new term deposits for the customers. Okay. The next one, again a very important current affairs. GDP base year have been revised recently. Okay, this is the news of January. So India is revising its GDP base year from 2011-12 to 2022-2023. Okay, so previously this was the base year on which GDP was calculated. Now it will be 2022 to 2023. Okay, this will be implemented by the early 2026. Okay, so this has been notified, but it will be implemented fully by the early 2026. Why? To improve accuracy of national accounts, and obviously the more up to date the base year is, the better is the reflection of the GDP that India earns, right? Now, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, they plan to introduce monthly estimates also for the PLFS. PLFS is launched, right? The Periodic Labor Force Survey, which gives us the idea about the the statistics regarding the labor force in India, the employment and every details. So now MOSPI, that is the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, they are planning to introduce monthly estimates of this PLFS as well from January 2025. Okay. Now see a little bit of GK and GA about the GDP and the base year. Now what is GDP? This you should know if you are an aspirant for quite some time now. This is a part of your economy, right? So GDP is the market value of all the final goods and services produced within a country for a given period of time. So that time period can be like 1 year or a fixed time period. So generally it's a year. So GDP is the market value of all the final goods and services that are produced within the limits of the country, okay, within this given period of time. Now there are two measures of GDP, real GDP and nominal GDP. Now real GDP, as the name suggests, it measures the real economic output, where we take into account the inflation as well. Inflation or deflation, we take it into account, but nominal GDP is calculated based on the current prices, which does not require the inflation adjustment. So nominal GDP will just give you the present monetary in monetary terms, it will give you the present value of GDP, which will not include inflation. Okay, but real GDP, it includes inflation and gives you the real value of the goods or the services, right? The difference between real and nominal GDP therefore is the factor of inflation, right? Now what is the purpose of using a base year in calculating GDP? It helps us comparing between years. We can compare the GDP. We can also compare and see the changes that is taking place in the purchasing power of people and also the inflation adjusted growth estimates. It helps in all of these. Next, again important, RBI has added 8 tons of gold and India has become the second largest gold buyer in 2024. So this ranking of India, this is important, right? So total gold reserves has gone up to 876 tons. This you don't need to remember. You need to remember that India has become the second largest gold buyer globally in 2024. And who is the largest gold buyer? It is Poland. Okay. Now RBI's gold reserve strategy, it focuses on hedging against inflation, right? To mitigate foreign currency risks, we keep, or RBI keeps, certain gold reserves. Why? So that there is no excess inflation, or if there is some need, we do have that backing, right? So the volatility is decreased. Next, Bharat Cleantech manufacturing platform have been launched by the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And where was this launched? In the Bharat Climate Forum 2025, which took place in New Delhi. Okay, now what is this platform? What will it do? It aims to strengthen India's clean tech value chains, right? Like in sectors like solar energy, wind, hydrogen, battery storage, so that renewable energies are used more. So for this platform has been launched. Now next is the Inroad project. What is this Inroad project that has been launched recently? Inroad project is related to the rubber production. Okay, this aims to improve the quality of natural rubbers that is produced in India's northeast. So under this scheme, there will be skill development for the rubber growers, and there will be establishment of model infrastructure based on which we can enhance, we can improve the quality of the natural rubber that is produced. Okay. So, and this initiative is going to be supported by the tire industries. Okay. Another very important thing that you have to remember is that the Rubber Board of India will oversee this Inroad project. So, who is overseeing this? The Rubber Board of India. Next is the very important India's first green hydrogen hub. Okay, this has come up. So, this is important. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has laid the foundation for the first green hydrogen hub of India, and where? In Visakhapatnam. Important points to remember from here is that it is a joint venture between whom? Between the NTPC Green Hydrogen Limited and the New and Renewable Energy Development Corporation of Andhra Pradesh. So it has come up where? In Visakhapatnam, and it is a joint venture of which two? NTPC Green Hydrogen Limited and the NREDCAP of Andhra Pradesh, right? Now, why has Visakhapatnam been chosen to establish this? Because of its coastal proximity and port infrastructure, which will make it ideal for such an hub. Okay. Now, this first green hydrogen hub, this falls under this has come up under the National Green Hydrogen Mission that India had launched. And under this mission, it is important to remember that under this mission, a target of 5 million tons, okay, of green hydrogen production annually is targeted by 2030. So by the year of 2030, India targets to produce 5 million tons of green hydrogen every year, so that we can gradually shift to a more hydrogen based, more renewable energy based economy, right? Next is the ACCL launches post retirement benefit cell in Chhattisgarh. What is ACCL? It is the Southeastern Coalfields Limited. Okay, it is a subsidiary of Coal India, and they have launched this post retirement benefit cell in Chhattisgarh. Alright, so just remember that ACCL has launched this post retirement benefit cell, and where? In Chhattisgarh. Now this cell, it supports the ACCL's larger mission called Mission Sambandh. Okay, so previously ACCL had launched this Mission Sambandh to have better communication and engagement with its stakeholders. So under that scheme, this particular cell have been launched. Now, very important, a new board or a new body have been established in India, that is the National Turmeric Board. Okay, National Turmeric Board have been established, and the headquarter is in Nizamabad in Telangana, where in Telangana the headquarter is located. So what is the aim of this National Turmeric Board? It is to support the turmeric farmers to grow and export. It will promote export of turmeric as well. India produces 70% of the world's turmeric. Okay, so turmeric is what? It is haldi, right? So turmeric is haldi. So to promote export of this, because we already produce 70% of the world's turmeric, and to oversee all that, National Turmeric Board has been established. And who is the first chairperson? This is also important, very important in fact. Shri Palle Ganga Reddy. Shri Palle Ganga Reddy is the first chairperson of this turmeric board. Okay. Next is that NPCI International Payments Limited, that is the NIPL, they have partnered with the UAE based fintech firm called Magnati. Okay, and why? To enable UPI transactions for Indian travelers in UAE. So you know that UPI have been developed by NPCI, and it has been developed by India, right? So India and many of the foreign countries are also adopting UPI for its seamless, how easy it is, right, to make payments via UPI. So many of the foreign countries are adopting it. Now NIPL have partnered with a UAE based fintech, so that the Indian travelers in UAE can transact through UPI. Okay, UPI acceptance will begin in Dubai duty free and later it will be expanded as well. Now see, currently UPI payments are accepted in 7 countries, including our neighbors like Bhutan, Nepal, right, Sri Lanka, and also Singapore and France, right. Next, let's talk about the UPI a little bit. Now, the full form of UPI is important, Unified Payments Interface, right. So this helps in instant payment. It's an instant payment system. It has been developed by whom? The National Payments Corporation of India, NPCI, important. So remember, NPCI has developed it. Now UPI, it is an advanced version of the IMPS, okay. IMPS, the full form is Immediate Payment Service. So it's an improvised and advanced version of the IMPS, which helps in round the clock, that is 24 hours we can make cashless payments, right. The first foreign adopter of the Indian system of UPI was Nepal, okay. So remember that India's UPI system was first adopted by Nepal, important. Next, another important news is that RBI has now allowed the overseas branches of some authorized banks only to open the Indian rupee accounts, INR accounts, for the non-residents. And why? To boost the use of rupee, that is INR, in global trade. Generally global trade takes place in either in dollars, right, or whenever with whichever country we are trading on, that it depends, but generally it is dollars or any other more powerful currency. So India is trying to push Indian national rupee, our currency, to be used in global trade more and more. So for that this has been launched, and it will benefit the cross border transactions by reducing the currency conversion costs. So whenever, if the trade is taking place in some other currency, then you have to convert it, there is conversion cost, there is also volatility, or if there is other problems also, like now in Russia the war is going on. So now there is a problem with the dealings that India has done in the payments that India will do with Russia. So if more localized, if our own currency could be used, these kind of trade problems can be easily sorted. The next one is about the virgin coconut oil. Now the virgin coconut oil from the Nicobar district, okay, it has received the GI tag. GI tag is the geographical indication tag. Now this GI tag, through this, government aims to empower the tribal communities and the self-help groups who are involved in the production of this virgin coconut oil, okay, and this will help them in marketing and branding this, and it will help boost the sales, okay. Now about the GI tag, it's important, geographical indication tag. What are these geographical indication tags? These are intellectual property rights which help identify a product's unique geographical source, right. So by giving geographical tag, we can understand that this product belongs to this particular place, right. So this helps in easily marking the place with the the product with the particular place from where it is being produced. Now this GI tag, okay, it is governed by the act which was brought in 1999, the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act. And the registry of all the products that have got GI tags, the registry is kept by the Geographical Indication Registry, which is a division of the DIPIT, okay. They issue these GI tags, the Geographical Indication Registry under DIPIT, okay. Now initially when the GI tag is given, it lasts for 10 years. The tag will remain for 10 years, after which it can be renewed, okay. Indefinitely it can be renewed, but the initial period is 10 years. Now any trader group or association or organization, they can apply if they want a GI tag for their product, they can apply for it. Next, RBI has mandated the use of 1600 XX numbering series for transactional calls to customers, okay. So for promoting communications, banks and regulated entities, they have to use 140XX series, and RBI has also mandated that 160XX series have to be used for transactional calls by the customer. The objective is simple, it just wants to enhance the digital transaction security and the transparency, right. So there is prevention from fraud, okay. Next, RBI has infused 76,000 crore through variable rate repo auctions. Important. RBI has conducted variable rate repo auction. What is variable rate repo auction? See over here. The variable rate repo auction, it is a liquidity adjustment tool by which RBI they inject the short term funds into the banking system. So we know that there are several monetary tools, right, liquidity tools that RBI uses, like the repo transactions, the reverse repo transactions, right, by which what is the purpose? Main purpose is to maintain the money supply, right, maintain the money supply within the economy, right. So whenever there is a shortage of liquidity, then what RBI can do through variable rate repo is that it will introduce cash into the, that is the money supply, into the banking system through short term funds. Okay. The interest rate of the VRR, it is determined through an auction, unlike the fixed repo rate. So for the repo rates, for repo transactions and reverse repo transactions, rates are generally fixed, right, but the interest rate for VRR transaction, it takes place through auctions, and the tenure for VRR is short term. So for injecting money for short term, like for overnight or up to 40 days, short term means here up to 40 days maximum, VRR is generally used. Okay. So what happens is that the banks, they bid for the funds, okay, with varying interest rates, and whichever RBI will accept the bid, maybe the lowest bid or whichever bid that RBI will accept, on that RBI will inject this short term money into the system. Okay. So this will alleviate the liquidity deficit. So whenever there is a liquidity deficit, this will alleviate that, that is, the liquidity will now improve, it will stabilize just the short term interest rates, the call money rates, everything will now be stabilized. But remember that VRR has a changing, that is a variable, the name itself is variable rate repo, determined by auctions, and it is a short term monetary adjustment or liquidity adjustment tool. It is a short term tool. Okay. Tata Group, okay, they have been named as India's most valuable brand. Important. Which group? Tata Group, India's most valuable brand. Okay, the valuation you don't need to remember so much, it is 31.6 billion. Okay, but it has been ranked 60th among the world's top 100 brands. Okay, and overall globally, Apple is the most valuable brand. Alright, now Brand Finance, which is a London-based consultancy, they evaluate all these financial value of brands, and they determine the all these values and these rankings. Okay, so Tata Group is India's most valuable brand, and globally it stands at a rank of 60th within the 100 top brands. Okay, next, IDFC First Bank, they have collaborated with RuPay, and they have launched the first Earn RuPay credit card. So who have introduced this? IDFC First Bank and RuPay. Okay, what is this RuPay credit card that has been introduced? It is a secured credit card that will combine both the benefits of fixed deposit and cashback rewards and UPI transactions, right? So it is a credit card, but it will combine all of these three services: fixed deposit, cashback rewards will be given, and UPI transaction as well. Now, RuPay is India's first indigenous card payment network. This is again important information to remember for your general awareness section, right? India's first indigenous card payment network is RuPay, and RuPay was launched by NPCI. NPCI has also developed the UPI, right? So this RuPay, it was introduced in 2012 by NPCI. Now see the next one, very important, fiscal health index. Who releases this fiscal health index? Niti Aayog, right? So Niti Aayog have unveiled this year's, that is 2025's fiscal health index to assess the performance of 18 major Indian states. Okay. Now based on the 5 sub indices, okay, this FHI score is given, and Odisha has come up as the top ranker in this FHI score with a score of 67.8. Now this current affairs is very important because this one came in one of the regulatory body exams recently held, I think in ACL, I would say. Yes, in NIACL, I think this question came. Okay, so this is important. Odisha has secured the top rank with this FIHI score, and who are the other 2 states after Odisha? They are the Chhattisgarh and Goa. Okay, so remember that Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Goa, in this sequence they have topped the FHI 2025. Okay, now the five sub indices that are used for this fiscal health index is the quality of expenditure, revenue mobilization, fiscal prudence, and debt index and debt sustainability. Now see the next one. RBI have approved establishment of the National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation. Okay, so that is the NUCFDC, and the full form of NUCFDC, important to remember. What is this? It's an umbrella organization to provide comprehensive support to the urban cooperative banks. Now see, Punjab National Bank has become the first Indian bank to launch Clarify's National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. What is this NCRP? The portal is a system. It's a portal for processing the real-time cyber crimes, and it will help in fraud prevention. Okay, so Clarify, it monitors all the suspicious activities that takes place in the real time. So it's a real time data giving processing portal. Okay, so this will report all the ongoing cyber crimes, if any, so that we can prevent cyber crime and fraud. Okay, so PNB has become the first bank to integrate it. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, the I4C. Okay, this was established by the Ministry of Home Affairs in New Delhi. Under this, this I4C framework only, all these cybercrime related or technologies like Clarify, these work. Okay, so I4C, they provide a framework for the law enforcement agencies to combat the cybercrime in India. So it is the central authority to prevent cyber crimes in India. Next is the budget, right? The union budget, which was introduced in the parliament in February, right? So Nirmala Sitharaman is our finance minister, and she has presented her 8th consecutive union budget. Okay, now there has been a change since 2017. Remember this point, that from 2017 onwards, budget is now introduced on February 1st of every year. Okay, previously it used to be introduced at the end, that is on the February 28th of every year. Now since 2017, budget presentation date has been changed to February 1st. And why has this change been done? To allow more time to the parliament for going through the budget, for giving the parliamentary approval before the financial year begins. Financial year begins on April 1st, right? So now Nirmala Sitharaman, she has presented her 8th consecutive union budget this year. Okay, and she is India's first full-time woman finance minister who came to this post in 2019. Now she gave her longest budget speech in the year 2020, okay, which was 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Now let's see the next current affairs. It is about the MSME team initiative. Now this has been launched by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. This ministry have launched the MSME Trade Enablement and Marketing Initiative. What is this team initiative by the MSME? It is a scheme to improve digital presence of small businesses like the micro and the medium enterprises, so that they can enhance their presence, digital presence. For that, this scheme has been launched, and it targets that around 5 lakh micro and small enterprises should come. Okay, especially they are focusing on the women led businesses. They should be able to have a digital presence, right? So this initiative, it will be implemented with the help of open network for digital commerce. So ONDC will help in it. It will integrate the MSMEs into the ONDC network, so that these MSMEs, these especially women led businesses, they can have a digital presence, like a digital store from which they can sell, right? So the reach will be more. They can have a payment system online, and the logistic supports, all these will be provided by ONDC under the MSME team initiative. Okay, next, IRDAI. You know that IRDAI is the regulatory body of insurance in India. So they have capped, okay, they have capped the premiums, the increase of premiums to 10% for the elderly. So annually, the insurance companies, they cannot increase the premium for the senior citizens, like those who are above the age of 60. For them, the premium cannot be increased more than 10% annually. Why? To so that this health insurance, it remains affordable for the elderlies, right? Otherwise it becomes very costly. So this initiative have been taken by IRDAI. Now, very important point, this you have to remember, this came in this is a previously asked questions. Okay, recently in I think the NIACL exam only, this question was asked about the BIM coin. So this is important for your upcoming exams as well. So the Birla Institute of Management Technology, the BIM Tech, they have introduced BIM coin. So who have introduced BIM coin? BIM Tech. Okay, what is this BIM coin? It is a blockchain powered digital currency. So it's a digital currency powered by, backed by blockchain system. Okay, so this has been introduced to make the transactions more transparent, more secure, and more efficient. Now let's talk a little bit about what all have been introduced in the union budget regarding the insurance and the pension sector. Now the FDI limit for the insurance sector, it has been raised to 100%. Previously it was 74%. Now it has been improved to 100%, so that the foreign investment, it can come here, come into India, right, into the insurance sector. So for increasing the foreign investment, to improve the market penetration, that so that more foreign investment enters our market, and to integrate the global best practices, this reform have been taken place. Now in the pension sector, a new regulatory forum has been introduced for the pension product development, and all these there is an incentive so that the private sectors, all these initiatives are so that the private sector can participate more. Okay, so that it can enhance the private participation in the insurance, in the pension sector especially. Next important, My Narega app. This has been introduced where? In Rajasthan. My Narega app has been introduced in Rajasthan. So we know about the MG Narega scheme, right? The Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, which is the 100 days employment guarantee scheme, right? So to make the enrollment for these this particular scheme, to simplify this, to digitize this, okay, the employment application process, this My Narega app has been introduced. So this MG Narega, this act was passed back in 2005. Okay, initially it was called just the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Now this was renamed by an amendment in 2009, after which it came to be known as the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Okay, so this basically guarantees the 100 days work, right, where wage payment will be done to the rural households for this guaranteed 100 days of work. Now RBI has introduced internet domain names for the Indian banks and for the financial institutions. So different domain names have been introduced. For the banks, it is bank.in, that is bank.in, and for non-bank financial entities, it will be fin.in. Why has this been introduced? Because cyber security, I mean, cyber crime is increasing very much in India, right? So this will improve the cyber security, so that there is less phishing attacks, less, fake, all these fake financial websites, and so that people can understand the authenticity of a particular website. Okay, there are a lot of fake websites as well that, take these transactions, and these kind of scams happen. So to prevent those, bank.in and fin.in will be utilized by the legal entities, like the non-banking financial entities and the banks. Okay, now IDRBT, the full form is Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. They will manage the domains, okay, and the registration under these domains. Now let's talk about the RBI monetary policy of the year 2025. Now under the new monetary policy of 2025, the LAF, the rate of LAF have been cut by 25 basis points to 6.25%. So this is the new LAF policy, repo rate under LAF. Okay, what is LAF? So these are basically liquidity adjustment tools, right, that are used by the RBI to maintain the liquidity within the economy, within the banking system, right? So it basically maintains the overall money supply within the economy through the repo transactions, or the reverse repo transactions. Now the SDF rate, the standing deposit facility rate, have been reduced to 6% following the repo rate cut. So since repo rate has been cut, so SDF rate has also been cut to 6%. The MSF is the marginal standing facility rate. This has been adjusted to 6.50. So marginal standing facility rate, these are used for, for the short term, for the overnight like borrowings, and for those this rate are used. Okay, we'll discuss this in details. Just give me 2 minutes. Now bank rate was set to 6.50%. Okay, and the neutral stance, this time the RBI monetary policy has taken a neutral stance. So there can be three stance, right? Like tightening of monetary policy, right? Or there can be easing of monetary policy, depending on the requirement of the economy. And a neutral stance means there is neither tightening nor easing of monetary policy, so it is just flexible, it is neutral. Okay, so it will depend on the future economic conditions, and accordingly they can change the stance. Tightening and easing here refers to basically the money supply, the amount of money, the amount of liquidity within the market, within the economy. So if there is a increase in money supply and there is a high liquidity, right, and there is inflation occurring, then what will RBI do? There will be tightening of monetary policy in that case, right? So rates will be increased so that now the banks, they can borrow at a higher rate, so there will be less borrowing, less money within the economy. And easing of monetary policy means there will be a reduction in borrowing rates and everything, so that there can be easy investments, there can be easily credits can be given, and money supply can be increased within the market. Okay, so this time neutral stance has been taken. So what is a repo rate? That we saw, repo rate is the rate at which the central bank, that is the RBI in this case, they lend to the short term funds to the commercial banks, right? So the rate at which the commercial banks can take a loan from the RBI is called the repo rate. The LAF, it is a tool, as I said, to maintain the liquidity within the economy through the repo and the reverse repo operations. The standing deposit facility, it allows the banks to deposit their surplus funds. Surplus means extra, right? So to deposit their extra funds with the RBI without a collateral. What is a collateral? A collateral, you can say, it is an asset that is pledged while taking loans or while submitting loans. For example, if you're taking a house loan, right? So that is when you're taking a house loan, you're pledging the house. The house becomes the collateral when you're taking a house loan. When you're taking a gold loan, so then the gold, it is a collateral that you're pledging, right? So if you cannot pay up the loan, then this gold will be taken away by the um, authority, for example the bank. Or if you cannot pay the house loan, then your house will be claimed, right? So that is what a collateral is. So SDF, it is the facility through which banks can deposit their extra funds, their surplus funds with the RBI without a collateral. Okay. Next, marginal standing facility, it is a window for the banks to borrow overnight funds from the RBI, and generally this MSF, it has a higher rate than the repo rate. Repo rate is the rate at which short term funds can be taken by the commercial banks from the central bank. But if a bank suddenly is having a shortage of funds and they want to take a loan, or they want to borrow from RBI overnight, right, then it is an emergency kind of situation, so they need it overnight. So for that, MSF facility is used, and this rate under the MSF is usually higher than the repo rate. Okay, bank rate is the rate at which RBI provides long term loans to commercial banks. So this is the difference between your bank rate and your repo rate. Repo rate is for short term funds, and your bank rate is the rate at which long term loans are provided by RBI to the commercial banks. And this time a neutral stance, as I explained, that a balanced stance have been taken to balance the inflation control. Now let's see the next one. The next talks about the India EFTA desk. This has been launched in New Delhi. What is EFTA? EFTA is the European Free Trade Association. Okay, European Free Trade Association that consists of the countries like Switzerland, like Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Okay, so these are European countries. These are a few European countries which are part of the EFTA, a trade association. Now, this EFTA has now partnered with India to launch the India EFTA desk in New Delhi. And why? To support businesses and investments that, businesses that want to invest in the EFTA, right? The European Free Trade Association businesses in that, so that easily investment and everything can occur. So for that, this agreement has taken place. The importance here is that for the first time, any European, trade association or any European bloc have signed such a agreement with India. Okay, so the India EFTA Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, which have taken place for this EFTA desk, this is the first of its kind. Okay. Now, next is that RBI has a mandated additional factor authentication for cross-border card not present transactions. What are card not present transactions? CNP transactions. CNP transaction means transactions that take place without a physical card. Like it can be a UPI payment, it can be a digital payment in any form, right? So you're paying using either UPI or maybe using bank online banking transactions, anything that is taking place digitally without a physical card. So for these kind of transactions, RBI has mandated an extra authentication step or extra verification process, you can say, right? So that there can be a security for international transactions. Now this kind of authentication, it was already in existence for domestic transactions, so but now for the international transactions also this have been introduced. So what is this AFA? It is a multi-step security process by which there will be a requirement of OTP or maybe a biometric verification or any other method by which the transaction can be verified and approved. Okay, so this is already mandatory for domestic transactions, but now for international transactions also it has been made mandatory. So a card not present transaction refers to, as I said, to online phone or mail purchases where a physical card is not used. So these boxes, you can understand, are very important for your understanding of the current affairs, also for your static GA section in the banking GAs also. These informations are important, and also important for state PCS exams for the GK section, for the general awareness, or the GS sections, right? The general studies within economy, all this falls, right? Now let's see the next one. SEBI has launched Mitra platform. What is the full form of Mitra platform? Mutual Fund Investment Tracing and Retrieval Assistance. This is the full form of Mitra. So this has been launched by SEBI, the Security and Exchange Board of India. Now this Mitra platform, what does it do? It helps investors to trace their investment, to reclaim any inactive or unclaimed mutual fund folios. What are inactive mutual fund folios? These are mutual fund folios where there has been no investor led transactions for last 10 years. Okay, so those are the inactive folios. For that, SEBI has introduced this Mitra platform. Okay. Now, SEBI has launched another dedicated portal. This portal is for related party transactions, RPTs. You should understand what RPTs are over here. Okay, so related party transaction, what are these? These are transactions between businesses which already have some relation between them. Like it can be a parent company and its subsidiary, right? Or it can be two companies which have the same kind of ownership. Like if you're a partner for two companies, say this is company one and this is company two, and this is owned by say four people and this is owned by two people, and one of them is a common person, so they both have ownership of this company one and company two. So when transaction between these two companies are taking place, then we would consider that kind of transaction as related party transactions. Okay, so for that the SEBI have launched a dedicated portal to have the reports of such transactions, so that there is a transparency, right? So this is for increasing transparency in the corporate governance and the securities market. Next, IRDAI again have launched a very important initiative called the Bima Trinity Initiative. Bima Trinity Initiative. Trinity, whenever you see this term, you would know that this is related to three. Trinity means three. So what are the three initiatives that have been launched by IRDAI under this Bima Trinity Initiative? The Bima Sugam, Bima Vistar, and Bima Vahak. Okay, so this has been launched in the 9th Bima Manthan meeting. So what are these three initiatives? Let's see. Bima Sugam, it is a unified digital marketplace that will simplify the buying of services or other processes of claiming insurance policies and so on. So it is a unified digital marketplace for all these activities like buying or claiming insurances. Okay. Bima Vistar, it is a composite insurance product that will cover all the insurances like life insurance or death by accidents, right? Property insurances, hospitalization. We generally have different insurances for these, right? Like we have life insurance, we have health insurance, right? So under Bima Vistar, a composite that is a unified insurance product will be launched, which will cover all of these. And Bima Vahak is a scheme which is designed to empower women in the rural and semi-urban areas. So this Bima Trinity initiative is under the larger goal of IRDAI, which is the Insurance for All by 2047. Insurance for All by 2047 initiative of IRDAI. Another important current affairs, LIC, right? The Life Insurance Corporation of India, they have launched One Man Office (OMO) digital initiative. So this One Man Office initiative, it will enhance the agent efficiency by providing all the digital services, insurance services of LIC 24/7. Okay, so this is also under the LIC's goal of insurance for all by 2047. Okay, and this OMO initiative, it integrates the LIC's Ananda platform, which was launched in 2020. So you have to remember that Ananda platform of LIC, this was launched in 2020, and recently OMO, this has been launched by LIC. Okay. Next, RBI has introduced RBI Data, which is a new mobile application, right? So an app has been introduced by RBI called RBI Data, which will give, it is a platform which will give all the datas, right? Over 11,000 economic data series will be provided to the app users. Okay, so it will simplify, keeping all these economical, statistical datas, and it will be easily organized and easy for us to navigate if you want that data. Okay. Now IRDAI has launched another initiative. Okay, Bima Asba. Bima Asba. Important again. It's important to know who have launched it and what it is related to. So IRDAI has introduced Bima Asba. The full form is Bima applications supported by blocked amount. So what is this Bima Asba that has been introduced? It will basically simplify the premium payments of the insurances like life and health insurance policies. So what will happen is that in these Bima, through this Bima as well, there will be a one time UPI mandate which will block the funds that needs to be paid as the premium. Okay, so once you just authorize this one time UPI mandate, the funds will be blocked, and in due time these payments will be made, the premium payment will be made. Okay. Next, Paytm. The company Paytm has introduced Paytm Solar Soundbox, which is an innovative payment device for the smaller merchants. Okay, so this device will ensure a continuous transaction alert using the solar energy. Okay, so this makes it ideal for the rural areas where electricity still, is a problem. Now it comes with two batteries. One is a solar powered battery, another is a electricity charged battery, so that there is a seamless functioning. That is seamless functioning, that is easy or efficient functioning, right? Now RBI has raised the small value loan ceiling for the UCBs to 3 crore rupees. Okay, so RBI has increased this small value loan limit for the urban cooperative banks, and what is the limit now? 3 crore. Okay, this is under the broader initiative of RBI to enhance financial stability in the UCBs. Next, PNB, the Punjab National Bank, it has signed an MOU. MOU is Memorandum of Understanding, right? So it has signed a MOU with the Indo-Tibetan Border Police to offer exclusive banking benefits to them. Okay, so this is a partnership that will provide specialized banking services and financial benefits to the ITBP personnel and their families, like for payment of their salaries, the pensions, right? All of that. So PNB has signed this MOU with the ITBP. Okay, and this falls under the initiative PNB Rakshak Plus scheme, and this will help the personnel to have a zero balance salary or pension account as well, for these transactions. So we every bank has a minimum balance requirement usually, right? Like for private banks it's usually a bit higher, but for SBI and for other government banks it's a bit lower, but it's around 1000 or something for SBI, I think. So this kind of minimum requirement is always there. So now PNB has signed this MOU to introduce zero balance salary accounts and pension accounts. Okay, so you can keep zero balance there as well. The account will not be scrapped for that. Now AMFI have launched Choti Sip Tarun Yojana and Mitra for financial inclusion. AMFI is the Association of Mutual Funds in India, right? So they have launched Choti SIP, Tarun Yojana and Mitra to enhance financial inclusion and also to increase the investor awareness. So what is this Choti scheme, Choti SIP Yojana that has been launched? It has introduced a 250 rupees 250 SIP plan. Okay, to make mutual funds more accessible, more more reachable to people with lesser funds, right? So financial inclusion is the key goal over here. Tarun Yojana focuses on financial literacy within schools and educating the youths about investment. It is important to invest and to save, right? Both for financial security and also for our economy. So to spread this financial literacy regarding these investments within schools and within youth, the Tarun Yojana has been launched. By whom? By AMFI. The Mitra platform, this have been introduced. We learned about this earlier also, right? SEBI has approved this. This will help investors track and retrieve their unclaimed or forgotten mutual fund investments. Okay. Now next, IRCTC and IRFC, okay, they have been granted the Navaratna public sector undertaking status. Navaratna status have been given to IRCTC and to IRFC. Okay, so now with this, there are a total of 7 listed railway PSUs that hold the Navaratna classification. So what are the eligibility criteria for becoming a Navaratna PSU? First of all, that company, that PSU have to previously be a Miniratna 1 company. The classification previously held by that company should at least be Miniratna 1 company. Okay, and then they should have an excellent or a very good MOU rating in the last 3 out of the 5 years, and they should score 60 plus points based on 6 key performance indicators. And if they fulfill these eligibility criteria, the PSU is then upgraded to a Navaratna company, right? Now what is the purpose of giving all these statuses to the PSUs like Mini Ratna, Navaratna? What is the purpose? What changes with these different um, statuses? So what changes is the autonomy, the functionality, the operational investmental capacities of these PSUs, right? So when one becomes a Navaratna PSU, then the investment autonomy, it improves, it increases. So Navaratna PSUs can then invest up to 1,000 crore without the approval of the government, which previously was a lower, you know, a much lower amount, right? Then there is other benefits also, like they will be allowed to invest up to 15% of their net worth on a single project or up to 30% of their net worth annually, right? So these kind of benefits are given so that it can improve the efficiency, the functionality, right, the operational capacity of these PSUs, right? Now Navratna PSUs can incur capital expenditure, right, on new purchases without monetary limits, and these companies, they can form joint ventures and partnerships independently. So basically the freedom of operation, right, autonomy increases with improvement in status. Next, RBI and NCFE have launched a nationwide financial literacy campaigns, right? Lead banks are directed to set up FLCs to promote financial education. You might have come across in the TV, if you have been watching RBI Kehta Hai campaign. So this is a multimedia campaign that has been launched in multiple languages for public awareness, for spreading financial literacy. Okay, and this have been done with RBI with the help of NCFE. Okay, now the mass media financial awareness campaigns have the messages, financial awareness messages against like the scams, the financial scams that are taking place, right? So for all of this have been launched. Now, regular financial education programs are conducted with the collaboration, okay, with this Center for Financial Literacy. So, all these campaigns they take place to just improve the financial awareness among people. Okay, NCF's National Strategy for Financial Education is designed, okay, in consultation with the financial sector regulators to enhance this financial literacy itself. Okay, so remember who has launched this, who has partnered with RBI for this RBI Kehta Hai campaign? NCFE. Okay. Now, India has become the leading source of FDI into Dubai. Important. India has accounted for 21.5% of Dubai's foreign direct investment. Okay, surpassing in 2024. This is the data from last year. Surpassing United States, France, as well as UK. So now India is the top most, right, FDI invested to Dubai. Okay, and RBI has retained its top global rank for greenfield FDI projects for the fourth consecutive year. Okay, as per the FDI markets data. This data is given by FDI markets. And what is this greenfield FDI project? What does this mean? Greenfield projects means new projects, okay, absolutely new projects. And in this case, FDI projects means a foreign company is investing in a new, a different country for development of new infrastructure that can be, or it's constructing something from the scratch, okay, from the very beginning. Investing in a, maybe they're buying up a land and then they're creating all the infrastructures and recruiting new people. So it is beginning from the scratch. Okay, it is different from brownfield projects. Okay, there is another term that you should know: brownfield projects. Brownfield projects means investment in projects or in lands which have previously been used for some other purpose, maybe. So maybe there was a land that has been previously used for some other purpose, for some other commercial or industry purpose, some other industry was there, and now that industry has gone out, they have taken out the investment, so a new company is coming in and investing in the same land for developing their projects. Then it is brownfield, because that particular land or particular place have previously been used for some other purpose as well. Then it is brownfield. But greenfield is when a new company is coming up and starting fresh from forming new infrastructures and everything on a new land which has not been previously used. Okay, next, IIFL Finance has rebranded the 7 branches. It's 7 branches which will be staffed by only women, okay, called Shakti branches. So this Women's Day, in the Women's Day, they have, IIFL have rebranded 7 of their branches as all women staffed branches. Okay, and where these are mainly in the Delhi NCR region and in the Mumbai MMR region. Okay, so this will promote gender inclusion, right, equity, gender equity, and it will empower women in the financial service sector. Now let's see the next one. Finance Ministry has approved the Power Finance Corporation to issue zero coupon bonds. What are zero coupon bonds? Zero coupon bonds, they do not pay any periodic interest. Okay, they're issued at a discounted rate, at a discount, and then when you're redeeming it, reclaiming it, then it is taken up at full face value when it is matured. Okay, so there is, in case of zero coupon bonds, there is no periodic interest rate payment. Okay, it is just issued at a discounted rate, and when the maturity arrives and you're redeeming it at the full face value of the bond. Okay, now Finance Ministry has approved the Power Finance Corporation to issue such zero coupon bonds. Okay, now see, short-term capital gains and long-term capital gains, two terms that we are going to explain here. So short-term capital gains, short-term, whenever you see this term, it means less than 1 year, right? So whenever capitals that they are sold before 12 months, okay, and the gains are taxed as per the bondholders income tax slab, then that is called the short term capital gains. And what will be the long term capital gains? When gains from these bonds, if they are held beyond 12 months, and then the gains are taxed at 12.5%, which are lower than the STCGs, because this is a long term planning, right? For long term you're holding it, so the tax is reduced. So in that case it is the long term capital gains. Okay. Next, the LIC, New India Assurance, and GIC Re have been again classified as the domestic systematically important insurers for the time period of 2024-2025. So previously also they were categorized as DSIIs, and now also they have been reclassified as that. So what are these domestic systematically important insurers? So they are the insurers that are important for our economy, that have a financial stability, right? Due to their size, due to their operational capacity, their efficiency in the market, they plays a crucial role, and they are like very important insurers, and that are stable also, that are too big and too good to fail. Okay, so failure is not a question over here. Similarly, there is another term in banking, the DSIBs, right? SIBs, the domestic systematically important banks. These are also called the too big to fail banks, right? So these are also banks which are too big to fail, which are too big, too efficient to fail. So there is a stability, there is a kind of security, right? For these banks, same for the insurers as well. Okay. Next, RBI and the Bank of Mauritius. Okay, RBI and the Bank of Mauritius have signed this MOU to promote local currencies in trade. Okay, again, this kind of current affairs we just learned a few minutes ago, right? So this agreement with the Mauritius's bank, it will enable the exporters and importers to settle the international transactions of trade in Indian rupees or in Mauritius's rupees. Okay, Mauritius rupees, the short is MUR. Okay, instead of third party currencies like I told you, like dollars, or with Russia we trade in ruble, right? So that causes a kind of instability if that particular country is suppose in war, or there is some deficiency, or some kind of problem with the currency, and there is also the problem of conversion rates, as we learned, right? So with the Bank of Mauritius, now there is a MOU with RBI, right? So that we can deal in local currencies when we are trading with Mauritius. So a little bit of GK and a little bit of the general awareness part about the Mauritius. It is an island nation in the Indian Ocean off the coast of eastern coast of Africa, right? Capital Port Louis, and English is the official language of the country. The Mauritian rupee MUR is their local currency, right? Official currency, and the Prime Minister is Dr. Navin Ramgoolam. Next, India and Singapore have signed a letter of intent. Okay, letter of intent to establish green and digital shipping corridor. Okay, so to promote maritime, shipping, digitization, decarbonization of shipping, a letter of intent have been signed with which country? With Singapore. So what is a green shipping corridor? It is basically maritime routes that will prioritize low or zero emission fuels and technologies, and this will reduce the carbon footprint. Okay, so here all the trades that will take place through shipping will prioritize zero or low emissions. Okay, the digital shipping system will enable the buyers and sellers to track all the shipments in real time, okay, for transparency. Now, RBI has approved a hike in the ATM interchange fees from May 1st, 2025. Okay, so it will come into implementation by May 1st, 2025. So RBI has approved it. There will be a hike in the ATM interchange fees, right? So that is the fee that is charged on the customers to use an ATM of other bank, right? So suppose you're withdrawing money with your Axis Bank card from suppose HDFC Bank, okay, bank ATM. So when there is a limit, or like I think for 3 times or like that, a particular limit is set, that till that time it remains free, and after that some charges cut from the customers, so that because you're using the ATM of the other company, other bank, right? So this fee that is charged will now increase, right? So what is the changes? The fee per transaction will rise up to rupees 19 from rupees 17. Okay, and for balance inquiry the fee will be increased to rupees 7 from rupees 6. Okay, all these data are important for banking aspirants mainly. Now let's see the next one. RBI issues revised priority sector lending guidelines. So what are these priority sector lending? What are the norms? PSL mandate, what is it? The RBI requires the banks to allocate a portion of their loans to the priority sectors for inclusive growth. So there is a mandate by the RBI to for the banks to keep a certain portion that they're loaning out. A certain portion of loans have to be given to priority sectors. Priority sectors like education, like health, right? So that there is inclusive growth, right? Now, how is this ensured by RBI that the banks are doing this? By priority sector lending certificates. Okay, these are tradable certificates issued against the PSL loans. Whenever a bank is giving a PSL loan, there are certificates that are given to these banks. Now, PSL, it was formalized in 1972, and initially there was no target set. Okay, so there was no target initially, but in 1974, banks were advised to raise their PSLs to 33.3%. And now these PSL guidelines have been again changed by the government. Let's see what these changes are. Okay, so loan limit have been enhanced for education, social infrastructure, and housing loans. Okay, so limit have been increased for these. And in the renewable energy sector also they are focusing. So loans up to 35 crore for the projects using renewable energy will be given, and 10 lakh per borrower for individual households. Now the total PSL target is set at 60% of ANBC. With micro enterprises they have a limit of 7.5%, I mean target of 7.5%, and for weaker sections the target is 12%. Okay, so the total overall PSL target is set at 60% of the ANBC. Okay. Now, another important change is that for the weaker sections, which the target is 12%, right? Now, then in this weaker section now, transgenders have also been included. Okay, they are also now classified within the weaker sections in case of the PSL norms. Okay. Now, banks who fail to meet the PSL targets, they have to contribute the similar kind of amount to the RIDF, that is the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. So that finally that amount is there for investing into these priority sectors. Now, very important, India has become the world's second largest crude steel producer. Okay, second largest crude steel producer. Largest crude steel producer is China, and after that now second is India. Okay. Now, India aims to achieve 300 million tons of crude steel production capacity by the year of 2030. Now, within states, Odisha is leading the steel production, followed by Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. This is important. State PSC or SSC, whichever exam you are appearing, this is important. These are part of your economic geography sections. These datas are generally, you will not get these datas in the books, because in the books these current affairs are not updated in the static books, right? In the GS books. So from here, please make a note that the top steel production state, the top steel producing state is Odisha. Okay, followed by Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Okay. Now, another term that you will come across often in the current affairs or in news is green steel. What is green steel? It is steel production that uses renewable energy resources, okay, or that does not use fossil fuels. So it uses renewable energies or other sources which by which carbon emissions are reduced. Okay. Now, JSW Steel, they have become the world's highest valued steel manufacturer. Okay, they have surpassed a US based Nucor Corp. So now JSW Steel are the world's highest valued steel manufacturers. Okay, the company's market cap has recently crossed $30 billion. Okay, marking a significant milestone. And JSW Steel is also India's largest steel producer by capacity. Next, again important, India has become world's second largest tea exporter in the year for the year 2024. Okay, so India has exported around 254 mkg of tea in 2024. So you just need to remember that India has now become the second largest tea exporter, and previously it was Sri Lanka. Now India has surpassed Sri Lanka, and the largest tea exporter is Kenya. Previously also it was Kenya, so it has retained its position. Okay. Now about tea a little bit, you should know that Assam is the largest tea producing state of India, right? It contributes about or over 50% of the country's total production of tea. Okay. India not only is the second largest exporter, it is also the second largest tea producer and the largest black tea producer. Okay. After China, it is the second largest tea producer. India. Okay. Tea Board of India oversees all the tea production and everything. So Tea Board of India, where is it headquarter located? It is located in Kolkata. Okay. Darjeeling tea was the first to get the GI tag. So we have talked about geographical indication tag a little bit in this lecture already, right? So Darjeeling tea was the first product from India to receive this GI tag. Okay. Now the climatic conditions have been discussed a little bit. Cool to warm temperatures is required, and 5 hours of sunlight at least daily is required. The average temperature should be 15 to 23 degree Celsius, and annual rainfall is 150 to 200 centimeter. Next, another one. India becomes world's largest milk producer as well. So India was already the largest milk producer of the world, and now India is contributing over 24% of the total global milk production. Okay. Now the dairy sector, it makes up 5% of the India's economy. Okay, 5% of India's national economy is the dairy sector. Okay. Now Indians consume a lot of milk every day as well, right, which exceeds the global average consumption of milk. Okay. India aims to increase its milk production to 300 mmt within 5 years. Okay. Now let's talk about this Rashtriya Gokul mission, after which milk production skyrocketed, milk production increased, and what we call as the White Revolution. Have you come across this term? White Revolution. So White Revolution refers to the increase in the milk production that took place in India. Okay. Now after that, Rashtriya Gokul mission also took place. This was introduced in 2014. Okay, to promote indigenous bovine breeds. Now, what was the aim of this Rashtriya Gokul mission? The objective was to enhance milk production, definitely by using scientific breeding and technology. So, integrating science and technology within the production of milk. Okay, implementing body, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying. Okay, so they execute and implement this scheme. Next, India's first export of anthurium flowers to Singapore. So for the first time, India has exported anthurium flowers, and from where? From Mizoram. So these have been produced in Mizoram, and they have been exported to Singapore for the first time. So what are these anthurium flowers? It is a tropical plant. It has a decorative appeal, but it is mostly known for its air purifying properties. Okay, so it has been seen that if you keep it indoor, it removes toxins like formaldehyde, ammonia, toluene or xylene and others from the air. Okay, so NASA has also included anthurium in its list of air purifying plants for its indoor air quality benefits, and this is for the first time been exported to Singapore by India, and from where? From Mizoram. Okay. So that is all the important current affairs from January to March, from the section of banking and financial importance, right? So from the economic section. Okay. I hope this session was beneficial for you. If there is any doubts or any something that I have not explained, you want me to explain some term that you have not understood, something like that, please comment it in the comment section. Okay. And for the getting the monthly PDFs, you can join our Telegram channel, Focus Prep Current Affairs. The link is given in the comment section. Okay, so please go to the comment section, click on the link and join the channel. There you will get all the details regarding our current affairs materials. Thank you everyone.